So, what is Kenshi? When I try to think of a way to best describe my new addiction, I am at a loss for words. You see, Kenshi is an open world, sandbox, RPG. Kenshi is a lot of things, and with no central story to guide you, it can feel a bit overwhelming. Not to mention that almost everybody you meet in the world is either out to kill you, steal from you, or enslave you. Sometimes all three. I think the best way to properly explain a game of this magnitude is jump right in and experience it for yourself. So here's what I was able to uncover from Kenshi in my first 100 hours of this beautiful mess. Anyways, this is Al. As you saw, he got off to a rough start and decided to head out in the swamps. Unfortunately for him, the swamps suck. There's blood spiders and swamp raptors trying to eat you, and swamp ninjas and pirates who just want to mess you up for existing. But you know what the swamp does have? Lots of water. It's flipping everywhere. Now, you may ask what that means for Uncle Al. Lots of water means you can grow rice, and you can use rice to make sake, an alcoholic substance that the weeaboos in the United States territory treat like a delicacy and will pay a high price for. Unfortunately for us, Swamper Town buildings aren't big enough to hold a Science 2 station, so we need to head out and make a base just to get ready to make some sake. In order to do that, Uncle Al will need to call in some help from his family. We've got Aunt Margie, Grandpa Scarf, this weird bug guy, and our sister cousin Mui. You see, in Kenshi, working alone is dangerous, especially when you start out. You have no plot armor and you are no better than anybody else, and the game goes out of its way to prove that to you. The extra hands can help us work the rice fields and brew sake once we get that researched, as well as to pick up our unconscious body before something happens along to eat it. Researching takes books, which are used up on various research projects. You can't make your own books, but you can find them at tech shops or in ruins throughout the world. Because we set up a base, bandits and ruffians are going to raid us, or attempt to ransom us. Unfortunately for the bandits, we don't have any money, or anything worth stealing at this point. So if we run away from the base, the worst they'll do is steal any food we leave behind. Now, unfortunately, in the swamp, there is no wind. Just learned that myself after building a wind turbine. That means we need to build a generator to fuel our sake distillery, and for now, we have to purchase fuel for it. Also, these guys suck. They don't immediately attack anybody, but you know what they do? Eat your crops. The only reliable way to keep them out is to put up some walls in the gate, and we are fresh out of cats. Thankfully, we just got our generator built and have enough resources to start making some sake. On the bright side, not everybody who comes to your base is out to kill you. For instance, these hive traders are a blessing, as they'll buy our first batches of sake at full price, unlike the swampers, and will be able to sell us enough building materials to complete our wall. Things are finally looking up for us. Or not. It's like that a lot of Kenshi. Right now, all our characters suck at combat, except Green, who's a pretty dang good shot with the crossbow. Our strategy so far has been either the shoot and scoot, or using the rest of our characters as meat shields to slow down our enemies enough for Green to riddle them with holes. Now that we've got a decent amount of sake built up, it's time to make the first trek to the United States territory. While it's only a small batch, we want to know how dangerous the route will be, and our strength isn't high, so we couldn't carry much more anyways. The quickest route turned out to be quite dangerous. While the border zone and Holy Nation territory were mostly uneventful, traveling through the acid rain in the Valley of Iron proved too difficult. We ended up backtracking and trying again through Venge. One of my favorite things about Kenshi is it is always reminding you that the world is out to kill you. In Venge, there are giant solar beams that rain down from the sky. Not a fun time. Thankfully, Uncle Al is a lucky guy and managed to not get struck down. He made it all the way to this way station that was just outside of Empire territory. We could have sold our sake here for full price, but if we wanted that, we could have just sold it to the Shek. Continuing on from this point, we have to be careful. The desert is teeming with slavers and giant cockroach-like abominations called skimmers. One false move and Uncle Al could be caught and thrown into the stone mines, a fate he already barely avoided. Thankfully, he arrived at Hang and was able to sell the sake for 150% of the normal price. While we didn't make a lot of money from this voyage, it did teach us one thing. If we want to sell our sake to the Empire, it'd be safer to take it all the way through the Holy Nation territory, as the worst thing that can happen there is bandit attacks. While we were gone, our base was attacked by swamp raptors and some thugs called the Stone Rats. We need to get some real defenses up soon because we are about to kick our sake production into next gear, and the last thing we want is some thugs stealing all our alcohol. Anyways, that's all for now. Make sure to leave a like and a comment below if you want to know more about Al's story. I've got a lot more planned for this channel, so drop a sub to stay tuned and see you next time.